Okay, basically a small show, guys, just to let you know. Second floor is mainly all of it. And one thing to tell you about, these people don't pay for any fees. There's no registration cost. You can just come by. They've just paid for the room, set them up, and it's much more of a relaxed audiophile setting up systems in a hotel room. These are companies that are doing it, but it's got that feel where these are true audiophiles doing it for the music, enjoyment, not a lot of business in terms of, you know, with distributors and all that press kind of stuff that kind of sometimes taints show experiences for normal audiophiles. This is the kind of experience that you want for a different type from Munich. You can sit in there for half an hour even, shoot the breeze with these guys, talk about stuff, request songs, everything. So totally different experience than Munich. So let's go into another room here. Raven Audio. Haven't seen them in a while. Really cool tube amps. How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Haven't seen you guys in a while.
Well, yeah, and we haven't had this show in a while, have we?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Well, I just came back from Munich, but that's the different kind of stuff. Yeah.
You want me to tell you what all we got here?
Yeah. Why don't you walk us through for people that aren't familiar with your brand?
Yeah, so we've got 2 rooms.
Okay.
Here at Lone Star.
Right behind us, yeah.
Yeah, so you were just in the room with our Elite amplifiers. This is our Avian series amplifier room, and we have the Nighthawk right here. That's our entry level amp. It's not an entry level amp. It's our entry level amp.
Okay.
And then over here that's currently playing is the next one up. That's the Blackhawk. We'll walk over there and talk about it in a moment.
Okay.
And then right here we have the Osprey.
Okay.
And then up here is a special edition. We only make 2 of these a year.
Is that right?
And this is an Osprey, and it has a very high-end paint job on it.
Yep.
We typically don't do the black on it. It looks better, I think, with the red to have the the silver here. But we had a customer that wanted it done this way.
Yeah.
So we did it. But the paint job is a place that does Bugattis and really high-end sports cars.
Yeah, I want to make sure people can pick up on.
And it's really beautiful paint.
Yeah.
And then the amp also has some hot rodded features to it.
Okay.
It has multiple dual-end capacitors in there that are $300 or $400 a piece capacitors.
Right.
So it's a hot rodded Osprey with a
same power though and everything.
It's actually a little bit more powerful.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of power are we talking about here?
It's about 40 watts per channel. The normal Osprey is about 30 to 35, depending on whether you use 6L6Gs or 7851 tubes in it. These are 7851s, and they're biased up to 70%, and we're somewhere around 38 watts per channel on it.
So it'll drive most efficient speakers, you know.
It'll drive, well, this one, for instance, is 20 watts per channel. Well, we have a lot of customers that have speakers that are 85 dB efficient, and they have that amp. Now, they're not creating a nightclub or anything like that in their living room, but they're happy with the sound.
That's good, yeah.
For me, it wouldn't be enough to have a 20 watt per channel on a pair of 84 or 85 dB speakers. So that's kind of the lineup on the Avians.
Okay.
And I'll tell you this, the Nighthawk and the Blackhawk, the difference in the two is cosmetic.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, nice to meet you. Come back. So you can see that the Nighthawk is a space gray, and the Blackhawk and the Osprey are essentially black. The paint is called Midnight Charcoal, so it's not, you know, just flat out black.
Right.
It's close to black. The difference in the amps is the Nighthawk and the Blackhawk are both 20 watts per channel, but their color is different, as I just mentioned, and the Blackhawk has the Raven capacitors in there, which are quite a bit more expensive, and it results in a slightly deeper and wider soundstage and faster bass.
Okay.
But they're still very similar. And then when you step up to the Osprey, it sounds exactly the same as the Blackhawk, except it's 50% more power.
Okay.
So you have a little more dynamic room.
And it's important for people to know these are integrated with these.
They're integrated. And I will tell you this. So we've had 2 reviewers that have stated that it's the best sounding amp they've ever had in their listing room, including amps up to $20,000. we get incredible results when people get these amps and compare them to other amps. Part of the reason for that, we believe, is the marriage of the preamp and the amp that we've designed in the same chassis.
Right.
No cabling between.
Synergy there.
Everything, there's a synergy there that you just can't get otherwise.
Right.
And that's part of the magic of these amps, is the marriage of the preamp and the amplifier section.
Now, does it have a phono stage, or
it does not? It does not. So you can use any phono stage that you want with it.
Okay.
And you know, we have customers that use everything from $130 shit audio phono stage to very exotic phono stages.
Okay.
And they get good results with both. Even just a normal solid state phono stage is quite good because you're going through a fantastic tube preamp, so you're getting
right.
all the tube glory right here. And most of our customers enjoy tube rolling. The founder of the company is a big tube roller, Dave Thompson, and so these amps, as you can see, are physically designed to be easy to tube roll.
I gotcha.
Now, my personal opinion is this is where you want to do the tube rolling. On the preamp tubes, not really on the power tubes.
Is that right?
Leave
Okay.
the power tubes alone. Do it here. You get the most bang for your buck on tube rolling with the first row, and then the second row, and then the third row. But you can mix different combinations and come up with some really cool sounds. For instance, this particular amp, special edition amp, it has Telefunken tubes in the first row, Brymar yellow tees, which are very rare, very expensive, and then it has General Electric tubes in row 3.
Interesting.
So there's about $600 to $800 worth of tubes just right here. And the result of using this tube combination is one of the most holographic sounds that I've ever heard. So, you know, you listen to the great singer-songwriter type songs, and that vocal is just out in front of your speaker 6 feet. And this tube combination helps out with that quite a bit. The amps are extremely holographic to begin with, but that kind of takes it to the next level.
And so the tube life is pretty good with these because you don't buy high.
We run the plate voltages low,
okay,
because again, the amps were built to be very friendly to NOS tubes.
Okay.
And they're not making more NOS tubes, right?
Right.
And so you want to have a long life.
Okay.
So that you can touch the tubes after the amp's been on for a while.
Okay.
And you're not going to just leave your fingers on them.
But it's not going to
but it's not going to take your skin off or anything like that, which can be the case.
Now, what is the price point for each?
Okay. So the Nighthawk, which is our entry amp. Again, it's our entry amp. It's not an entry amp. I've gotten beaten up on that a few times, so I'm very careful about how I say that. Is $3,400, and then the Black Hawk, which is over there but looks like the Osprey, is just over $4,000, and then the Osprey is $49.95, so essentially $5,000. This special edition amp is $79.95.
Okay. And where are these made?
Our amps are 100% made in America, and they're made partially in Texas and partially in New York.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's quite a good price point for an integrated with this aesthetic profile. Tubes. So the tubes come with it at that price point?
They do. Now, we give the customer the ability, and when they go to the website, there's some drop-down menus
for
next
upgrading.
To the amp.
Okay.
And what they're encouraged to do is call and talk to us and tell us what speakers they have. We'll make some recommendations. Then they can go into the drop-down menu, and I'll say, well, you need to add $100 or $200 for what we've discussed. They can add that in,
okay,
and then when they check out, there's a place for notes. And they say, hey, I spoke to James, or I spoke to Mark, or I spoke to Buddy, or I spoke to Dave, and I have these speakers, and we're going to get the right tubes in there for you. We're real familiar with a lot of the speakers out there. So all the Klipsch speakers, Zoo Audio speakers, Tecton speakers.
Yep.
Those kind of all fall for us into a similar category. We have a certain tube combination that we really like for those.
Right.
And then if someone has Focals, or our Corvus reference speakers, it's a completely different combination that we use for that. And then there's some other ones. Dyne Audio is one that we get requests for.
Interesting. Okay. What about the British BBC type speakers?
Yeah, that happens occasionally. Harbeth.
Yeah, I would think this would be a good combination.
Yes, we have several customers that have Harbeth, and for those, I actually recommend this type of a combination where you have a German tube like a Siemens in row 1, in a British tube like a Brimar 13D9 or a Yellowty if you can find them. And then in row 3 is not quite as important. You can use a CBS Baldwin or a GE.
Okay.
One of those kind of tubes.
So are those the rectifier tubes?
In the yes.
At the back. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Makes sense. Okay. Interesting. All right. Let's go take a look over here. What we got? What speakers are you using?
So these are the Corvus reference speakers, and we have 3 Grammy award-winning producer/audio engineers that produced major albums that use these speakers as their mixing and mastering speaker. One of the guys does all the Disney Marvel audio.
Is that right?
5.1, and so he has 5 of these.
Really?
And a sub. And they're really spectacular. The best compliment that we've ever gotten on these speakers was by a guy named Bob Katz.
Yeah.
And Bob Katz is the #1 mastering engineer in the world. He wrote a set of encyclopedias on mastering. Every mastering engineer in the world has that set of encyclopedias. I have a set. I think I even have one of his books back in the...
Yeah, I know who Bob Katz is, yeah.
Bob has listened to these speakers, and Bob said what we put as our tagline. He created our tagline. It's on our website for these speakers. And it said, a mastering grade speaker, yet sweet and musical enough to be just as equally as at home in your living room.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, and that's exactly what we were going for. And I've been doing classical music recording and producing for 35 years, and so all of my recordings, this is what I mix and master with, these speakers.
Okay.
Yeah, and I use an Osprey to power them with.
What's the model number again?
Corvus reference.
Corvus reference. Okay.
Yeah,
and what's
Corvus.
the price point on this?
So it depends on the finish.
Okay.
These are built-to-order speakers. So if you go with a particular finish that we have on this pair, this is a super high-end piano black. This is not just a piano black. This is Busendorf or Steinway quality.
Yeah, it's mirror finish basically.
Yeah, it's very deep. And it's a little hard to pick up on that in a photograph or a video.
Yeah, I can see like identical mirror for the banner here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
Very, very beautiful. So these are 12.5 with this finish, and they are about $2,000 cheaper with some other finishes that we have. You can call us, we can discuss that. We have one finish that is charcoal gray. It's very hardy and tough, and it looks pretty good. It depends on your room, and it takes an additional $1,000 off of them, so you're about $3,000 less if you're using that one.
Okay.
So it just depends.
But yeah, you can read the font. It's such a great mirror. You can read it now. The words are backwards in the mirror, but like the font and the letters are crystal clear. I don't know how good it's coming out on camera, but that's a finish. That's...
One of the things I learned when we started working with finishes is that, you know, as far as the black glossy finish, there are many grades of just how good that is. This is at that very top level.
About as you can't get more of a mirror finish than that. So that looks nice. But it comes in other colors too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do just about anything that you want on this pair of speakers. They are built to order. So most of our products, like all of the avian products and all of our cable products, we'll talk about the cable products in a moment, they come with a 45-day ability to return. We say it's risk-free. Some people have said, well, it's not risk-free if you have to pay something. You do have to pay something to return it because there's a cost to us. We're not a huge company like Amazon.
Sure.
So there's a little bit of a cost to us to go through and test it and rebox it, and you know, and then if it's scratched or something, that's a problem. So, but the elite amplifiers and the elite speakers, such as a Corvus, those are built to order. There's not a 45-day return on those, and so we will work with you to do different colors and different textures and things that you might want for your particular environment.
Now the stands are separate?
They are.
Okay. Are these your stands, or are you just...
We don't build these stands.
Okay.
These stands, this is funny, you can get these for $56 per stand from Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
And they're very heavy-duty steel.
And you could probably fill them, yeah.
And yes, so there's a plate when you put them together, and these are hollow, and you can put lead shot or sand in them, and they become very heavy and inert. And what I like on the filling of them is the fact that they become so heavy that it's very solid. Yeah. Now, the other thing that we do is we glue a piece of rubber. It's an old mouse pad. You can order those again off of Amazon, and it's basically a rubber mouse pad, and we glue those to the top of the metal stand, and once it glues on, we trace it with a razor blade. So you have this thick rubber that's very
interesting,
tactile, and the speaker just grips to it.
Yeah, that's very good. Smart idea. Yeah.
And so I don't see a reason to spend a whole lot of money on stands, but you can if you want, if that's what we've chosen to do.
Yeah. And that's an SVS sub, or is this your
That
own?
is an SVS sub. We're partners with SVS.
Okay.
We are resellers for SVS, and we like their subs. We like other subs. I like Rel and those. But
you like the seal box? This is what I've got.
These are absolutely sealed for the fastest of impulse response.
Exactly the same thing.
And again, we use this system in a critical setup for mixing and mastering, and so the timing and everything is perfect. And we have an EQ curve that we've worked very hard to make these subs integrate seamless. And we don't see this as these are a set of speakers and this is a subwoofer. We see this as a system, and it's a three-way system.
Okay.
And there's two-way here, and the third way is here, and it you know.
So you truly are crossing them over to the sub. You're not running. Okay.
Yeah. So the sub.
That's good.
Has the ability to put EQs in there at multiple slopes and multiple frequencies, and it has parametric EQs in it. Yeah. And so it allows us to.
So you're using the using the crossover in the SVS.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the things that I didn't mention, but now's a good time to mention it. Our Avian series amps, as well as our Elite integrated amp, which is called the Reflection, has a subwoofer output on the back of the amp, but above that, it has an additional feature, and you can get a shot of it right there, that is a high-pass crossover. That does not affect the signal that comes out of the sub out. You're gonna work on that with the crossover in your subwoofer.
Right, but you can.
What this switch does is it takes some of the bass load off the tube amp and your main speakers. That's especially useful when you have smaller bookshelf speakers. It cleans up the mid-range a bit. Yeah. But it also takes load off the tube amp and makes it effectively more powerful. Yeah,
especially if you only got 20 watts. Now the 20 watts is for. That's going to be plenty enough for a tweeter.
That's exactly the thought.
Yeah. Now. So that's really smart. You've only got if you've got the sub and you've got the subwoofer out, or you're using that crossover, that 20 watts is going to be more than enough in a lot of cases.
And I'll tell you something, you know, the Class D amplifiers, they're great for subwoofers. Yep. And there's just no argument from us on that.
Reliability could sometimes be a problem.
And they're great, the quality. There's no reason to put a tube amplifier or a Class A or Class AB solid state amplifier on a subwoofer anymore. But for mids and highs, don't recommend that at all.
Yeah, okay.
And it takes the load off the tube amplifier, lets it really shine. And we can drive these speakers much louder than anyone would want to hear them in the room with this setup.
So you also have a source here. Is that a?
It's a Brooklyn.
Oh, a Brooklyn. Okay.
Yeah, it's a Brooklyn.
The MyTech.
It's a MyTech.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
We just put some business cards over it so the lights aren't quite so distracting.
Okay.
I'll leave those off for right now.
Yeah.
And then we just got a laptop sitting over here.
Running Rune or something, or
running Apple Music.
Apple Music. Okay.
Yep. And we've also got Spotify, so if someone comes in the room and there's some song or piece of music they want to hear we don't have, we can pull it up on Spotify.
Okay.
And we've got some of our own music that I've recorded on there as well.
Well, I bring a USB stick that most time I never use at shows because the shows are too crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
But now, this show, I probably could bring it here.
Yeah, and we're even equipped for that. So just behind here, we've got a little USB hub, and you can plug in your USB stick if you have.
So this might be the first show I can do some recordings that I've always wanted to hear, and I can, you know, showcase that here. So great. Well, appreciate you walking through all that.
Well, absolutely. So tell me about yourself.
I have a YouTube channel. Let me give you my card.
I'm going to give you one of my cards as well. And you know, do you do reviews of equipment? If I sent you an amp or something like that?
I'm not really a review channel. I'm a audiophile journey channel. I do review stuff that I own, and I review stuff that other people I know own.
Okay. Where are you based?
Houston.
Okay.
So yeah, I go to a lot of shows. I do a lot of in-home installs with local dealers. I have friends that own local dealers. I have people that are home dealers that I'm friends with. So,
is that ever something you would do in the future, is review something? Or?
It depends. I try not to be one of those Me Too reviewers, but if it's a product I believe in, I think that my subscribers would benefit from. So yeah, something like that, I think I have quite a few people that are in that budget range, want high end, but then they could integrate it with a sub, get away with 20 watts, get some tubes, and then mate it with their speaker of choice, whether it's a Source Point 10, 8, you know, which is even you know, a lower budget point than what you've got here. But a lot of people are buying that.
Look, we have a lot of customers that have speakers that are in the $2,000 range. And spectacular results with the Nighthawk.
So I'm not saying no, but it's not something I do. But I do like to showcase companies that interest me at the shows.
We'd love to work with you if you know.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, great meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
All right.
All right, come back and see us. And go to our other room if you haven't.
I haven't gone in there yet,
okay,
so that'll be next.
It's not the room just next door, it's one more. It's 223.
Okay.
We're in 225 right now. And that's going to be all of the Elite Series amps.
Oh, okay. So
and
next.
What we have in there is the Reflection, which is our Elite integrated. And it's going to be similar to these, but much more powerful. And it's going to be in a much higher end chassis. It's all CNC aluminum, 27 individual pieces.
Wow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll cut the video here and I'll start doing music clips as well to give people a chance to hear both. And all right, great.